don't know about you, but I myself find time-lapse videos very captivating. That's why you won't find a single YouTube vlog video without at least 1 or 2 time-lapse scenes. The idea is simple: put the camera on a tripod and set it to take pictures at specified time intervals, and then turn that sequence of still photos into a motion picture. To make things more interesting, you can try moving your camera between each shutter release to add another dimension to your film. While the plain time-lapse is pretty straightforward, the latter option is a bit more complex, as you have to ensure that the frame is perfectly leveled so you don't end up with a video looking like it was recorded on a boat during a storm. Some cameras, like the Panasonic Lumix G7 I used, have a dedicated time-lapse mode where you set the time interval and the number of pictures to be taken, and the camera does the rest, including the final video at specified FPS setting. Just make sure your camera is switched to manual mode and set the aperture and shutter speed manually to ensure a consistent exposure in every frame. Adding a movement to the mix is a bit more tricky to pull off unless you have the Foton Chameleon slider with the Varanus motor unit and the shutter release cable for your camera. To use Varanus outdoors, you need to install Foton's battery pack, able to power Varanus for 70 hours in time-lapse mode or 5 to 8 hours in video mode, depending on the number of motors connected. Simply screw in the battery holder, attach the Sony NPF battery to the adapter, put the two in place, and secure it with elastic Velcro strap. Connect the battery to the controller unit and use the shutter release cable to link the camera with the controller. Position the slider and turn the controller on. Program the track as usual by moving the card to the ending position, storing the location by long pressing the OK button, and repositioning the camera to starting point. Next, press M to enter settings and OK to change the mode from video to time-lapse, and move on to setting basic time-lapse parameters. Press minus to switch to photo option, which determines how many pictures will be taken as the camera slides along the track. Both the distance and the number of pictures will determine the travel distance between each shutter release. Press OK to change the default value. Use plus and minus to change the number at the current position, and M and OK to move the cursor left or right respectively. Press the OK button when the cursor is positioned on the far right, or the M button when it's on the very left to store the input value. Press minus to move to the next option, pause, which determines the time interval between each shutter release event. Press minus to move to exposure settings, which regulates how long the camera will stay at the given position after releasing the shutter before it moves again. It should be exact value set on your camera or a bit higher. Next option is interval, and if it's set to off, the camera will slide on program track, taking pictures at specified intervals without stopping even for a moment. This mode will also discard the photo number setting, as the controller will calculate how many pictures will be taken at the specified frequency when traveling the set distance. Set it to on to make sure the photos aren't blurry due to a slow shutter speed. Press minus again to move to the auto speed option. Turn it on to have the Varanus calculate the speed at which the card should move, so it makes it on time for taking picture at the next stop. So if you want to have, let's say, a 10 seconds time-lapse video at 25 FPS, you'll need 250 pictures. This is what you input in the controller. Next, you set the exposure time and adjust the pause, while Varanus calculates estimated time it will take to capture the scene, such as an hour-long sunset. Pretty simple, right? Why use complicated calculation tables when you can have someone or something else do the math for you in no time? It's a no-brainer for me. Now that you're all set, press M to exit options menu and press OK to trigger the time-lapse sequence. During the process, Varanus keeps you informed about the card's current position, the remaining number of pictures to be taken, as well as the interval and exposure timers readings. Once it's done, you can either press OK to repeat the whole thing going the other direction, or move on to importing the pictures and creating that time-lapse video. But first, you need to resize those high-res pictures or you'll end up with an unplayable clip. I use Earphone View, which features quite useful batch conversion options. Simply select File, Batch Conversion, browse your file system to get to the folder containing your time-lapse photos, and click Add All. Click Advanced under Batch Conversion Settings and set the image size to 1920 by 1080. Click Start Batch and wait for the app to finish processing your images. Now you can move on to making the time-lapse clip. I myself use VirtualDub. Simply open the first photo, and as long as the rest is in the same folder, the app will pick up the fact that it's dealing with a sequence and will load the contents of the folder. Now save the project as an AVI file and wait patiently while the app renders the output file. That wasn't that hard, was it? And there you have it, a recipe for that captivating time-lapse video with a little help from Varanus, which yet again proves to be a very useful piece of photo equipment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.